Hello and welcome to Inside OUSD. I'm John Sasaki. We're in the summer now, and even summer school has ended across the district, so it's a great time to get a lot of needed work done in our schools in preparation for the fall and for our students to return. Today we're talking with our Executive Director of Facilities, Kenya Chatman, and our Executive Director of Buildings and Grounds and Custodial, Roland Broach. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your past, where you grew up, what schools you went to, and then what your history is here in OUSD.
All right, thank you. My name is Kenya Chatman, and I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. And I've been with OUSD since 2007, and I don't have any schooling here, but what I will say is that my daughter has been going through the schools. She went to Cleveland, she went to Claremont, and she's now finishing up her last year at Fremont High School.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Beautiful new campus
Yes.
at Fremont.
Definitely.
Fantastic. And you've been here for quite a while in OUSD.
Since 2007, yes. So basically up through the ranks, I was a project manager. I was hired as a project manager, became a project coordinator, and now I am the executive director of facilities.
Wonderful. And you have even a little bit longer history here.
Yes, I do. So I'm Roland Broach. I'm executive director over Custodial and Grounds, and I am Oakland's own. I was born in Oakland. I went to school in Oakland. I went to Webster Elementary, which is now East Oakland Pride Elementary. I went to Frick Middle School, and I graduated from Castlemount High School.
Go Knights.
Yes. And subsequently, I started as a substitute custodian. And as I worked in Oakland Unified as a sub-custodian, I actually paid my way through Cal State Hayward and graduated from Cal State Hayward a little bit later.
Very nice. And so, how long have you been with the district then?
Oh, I actually started working with the district in the summer of 1982.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very nice. All right. So we want to cover a couple of areas. One is all the projects that are going on across the district, but also what we're doing across the district currently to get ready for the fall, for the kids to come back. So, I mean, it's really, summer is like one of the busiest times for you guys, especially when you're really in the schools, really making sure that everything is ready for the teachers and all the other school staff, and then the students to return. So what's that like? What goes on?
Well, it's like a big rush, like a big waterfall, John. It's like you're cramming so much work, over 100 facilities, including the CDCs and central offices, into maybe 2 months worth of work. And so it's getting all the schools prepared, getting them washed down, clean from top to bottom, thousands of bathrooms, restrooms clean and prepped for that first day of school. All the hallway floors shiny, bright. It's one thing that I remember as a child in Oakland is that when I would go to school, the first day of school, the floors were always gleaming. So one of the things that I've always prided myself on is to ensure that when kids come back to school, those floors are gleaming.
Are you saying, though, that during the course of the school year, kids are kind of hard on our schools?
Well, yes, I would say that they are hard, but they're kids, and
No.
it's normal wear and tear.
Sure. No, just
Yes.
you're walking in that hallway every day,
Yes.
hundreds of kids doing that. It's going to get take that shine off.
That's right.
So, as you said, like 100 different facilities, and some of them had summer school going on too. So that work still continues while the summer school is happening as well?
Yes, it does. I think we had about 40 different facilities that had summer school, and most of those summer school programs just ended last Friday, so that's even less time to finish up the work and get it all together.
Yeah.
But we do have crews out there supporting that work.
They're just grinding every single day.
Yes.
And that's inspiring to hear, and they're motivated as well, just to make sure that the kids are super happy with their environments when they come back.
And you can clearly see that motivation in the fact that they're working so much overtime to get it done.
Yeah.
You can't get it done without overtime.
Sure. Okay. All right. So let's move on to talking about kind of projects that are ongoing, and there are some. There's even different levels of that. There's some projects that are happening just this summer, and they're going to be ready for the schools, such as some of our new playgrounds going in. And then there are some more long-term, measure-wise sort of projects as well. Can you kind of give us a brief list of what we're looking at right now across the
Yes.
district?
So we have a couple of different things. We have the playground work that's going on at Lockwood, at Hoover, at Allendale, at Woodland, but then we also have the bigger solar projects that are going on at about 13 of our sites. And then we just finished up Castlemont Field, which looks great.
They did graduation on it this year.
Yes,
It looked fantastic.
yeah, it's beautiful. We're finishing up Claremont Middle School multi-purpose building. We are finishing up Laurel CDC, and that should be finished by the end of the third quarter of this year, as well as the majority. And we're actually starting at Roosevelt Middle School, the big modernization project there, which we started this summer with interim housing and getting the site prepped ready to have the kids move out next year so that we can start the work inside the buildings. We have just a majority of different projects going on, but what I would like to highlight is McClymonds finally getting their start. We're starting, we have a design build entity on board, and we're starting to speak with the community again in the fall. We actually had community engagement all last year, and so we'll be talking with them again in the fall to get them design finished and in the state for approvals so that we can start work at McClymonds.
How important is that community engagement? And what do you say to, I mean, if we're planning on doing some work at any given school, what do you say to the families and the staff at those schools about what it means to have their involvement?
Oh my gosh, it means a lot. I prefer to have as much engagement as possible. I prefer to get their input because they're the end users. They're the ones that's going to appreciate the sites, and when they appreciate the site, it actually works better for us in the long run, and it actually works better for Custodial because they're taking pride in their schools because they're like, oh, it's new. We're going to just do what we can to make sure that it stays as well as possible.
And do you get feedback from your communities when you're doing the work in the schools, and what would work best for them as well?
Primarily, John, I think that's a facility component to get the feedback from the communities. But generally, our feedback comes from principals and administrators.
Okay.
And of course, the workers, the custodians and buildings and grounds workers. They tell us what's needed.
Okay.
We work with them, and we try and get it done.
Very good, very good. And so, when it comes to any of these big projects you're talking about, like McClymonds, Roosevelt, how long are these projects slated for? How long is it going to take to do all the work that's going to be done at McClymonds?
So yeah, it varies. With McClymonds, I think we're going to be complete by 2026 because it's a process, like I said, community engagement, designing, then it goes to DSA, which is Division of State Architect, and then it has to start in construction. And with McClymonds, it has to be phased due to the students there. We have to move them over to one side, take care of this, and then move them back over to the other side, take care of that. So, you know, with Roosevelt, it's also a phased project where we have to put them in interim housing, portables, for the time being, have them move out, and we do the work and, you know, ship them around. So it varies.
When do you expect, you mentioned the project at Claremont, when do you expect that one to be done?
That will be done October of this year.
So will they be able to get in and start using that pretty much as soon as it's done?
Yes.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yes,
You know,
definitely.
Certainly for kids coming into our schools this year, you know,
Yes.
they're it may not be quite done, but they'll get to see some of the construction going on too. That'll be kind of fun to watch as well. So, and then the unfortunate thing is what we're talking about here is, you know, a lot of Measure Y money, and that's great. 735 million is what you said?
Yes.
But we've got a lot more than that needs to be done across the district, right? I mean,
we're up to, I think the master plan from 2020 was $3.4 billion. And with escalation prices, I think we're looking at probably close to $4 billion by now.
Wow, just because the inflation.
Inflation, yes, definitely,
sure.
Escalation.
The kind of side note, though, on that is, you mentioned the playgrounds. We talked about Hoover and Lockwood. Those things can go in really quickly. And is there a difference in the kind of the way we do those projects that enables them to happen so quickly, or is it just the nature of what is going in?
The nature of what is going on, and it takes a lot of prep work before they actually get there. We're ordering the play structures, we're ordering the play matting, we're basically coming up with a plan with the site of how we're going to demo everything, get it ready, get it prepped, and getting the play structures out there and play matting out there and getting it inspected and ready for the kids.
And then, of course, we couldn't do any of that without Eat, Learn, Play, without Kaboom, without all their supporters that are there. And they bring hundreds of volunteers out to do all that work.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing when something like that happens. So, kind of moving on, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but for both of you, the kinds of things that we do with regard to facilities, with regard to custodial, is prep and make sure that everything is in the best shape possible for our kids. What does that mean to you guys personally? I mean, especially, Roland, you grew up here. These are your schools that you went to when you were a kid. What does it mean to you to ensure that these schools are gleaming when the kids get into them?
Yeah, you know, John, for me, it's a matter of satisfaction. Like if there's one word that I could use to describe how I feel once it's all complete, I'm very satisfied. As a Oakland native who went to all of these schools, when that first day of school comes and you get a chance to walk around, and we all visit sites that first entire week, and you get to see the faces of these kids, man, it's just it's unreal. So I enjoy the satisfaction of watching how happy the kids are to not just see their friends, but to actually be in clean, safe facilities.
Yeah, and you touched on that. When you were a kid, you remember what those floors looked like. So that's saying a lot. I mean, a few years back, you were a little kid, and you're still remembering that feeling. So what does it mean to you to know that something big like a revamped campus for Roosevelt or McClymonds or Claremont or any of these places? What does that mean?
It's actually pride for me. It's with me being a mom and having my child walk into an OUSD school and seeing the changes that have occurred, especially at Fremont. She saw what it looked like before construction, and for her to see, to walk the new halls and to be on the field for the first football game. It was exciting. It was exciting to see the community, with the smiles on their faces during the ribbon cutting, during the football games, during the basketball games and everything. And just, I think for me, it's like Roland said, satisfaction, but it's also, just makes me feel warm inside. Yeah, definitely.
I think it makes all of us feel warm inside. And it's great to hear that you get into the schools and you get in the schools too and see the kids and how they're interacting with their environments.
Definitely.
And all
First day of school, I think we are everywhere. We are definitely everywhere. And we actually have our project managers go out and be at the schools also to just make sure that everything is good, any other issues that are going on. So we're there everywhere.
Fantastic. All right. In the end, what do you want people to think about when they go back to school on August 7th? That's our first day of school, Monday, August 7th. So what do you want parents, what do you want staff, what do you want the students to know?
That we care, we do the best that we can with the time that we have, and what they don't see is us still working behind the scenes, still working on certain projects, still making sure that everything is safe, everything is secure. And we don't just walk away. We've never just walked away from a school site. We're still there, a few years later, even afterwards. Everyone can still call us up and say, hey, we still got an issue, or this is what's new, or hey, what about this? We're still there.
And by the way, all the work you're talking about is not even talking about when something breaks or something goes wrong at a school that has to be fixed immediately.
Correct.
So your thoughts to share with our community about coming back to school on August 7th?
Yeah, I think like Kenya said, we care. And we on the facility side, like she said, it's our job to ensure that they're coming to clean, safe facilities. But also, it's not just facilities, the academic side. We work together. Academics, they tell us what they want, we try and get it done. So overall, OUSD cares.
Perfect ending today. Thank you both very much for joining us. And thank you for joining us for this episode of Inside the OUSD. We will see you next time another episode of Inside OUSD.